What up, everybody? What up, everybody? What up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of AC Reviews the World. I am your host, AC the Engineer, and we are at episode 93. Let's give it a round. Yep, episode 93 now. Closer and closer to episode 100. That should be happening next Friday. But I don't know what we're going to do yet, but we got to get right into it. You know how the show works. We got 4 topics that we're going to go over. Most recently came out. And just things that I saw that we just need to talk about and need to review together. Now, it is Wednesday, December 24th, 2025, Christmas Eve. And we cannot miss a day. We will be here tomorrow as well around 6 o'clock. And we can't miss a day because we are consistent. There's a lot of news that we got to review and a lot of things we got to go over together. Today, we got a wide variety of things that we need to talk about. We got a Toronto kidnapping plot, which sounds wild to me. It sounds like they was kidnapping Jewish women, so we're going to get over into that. And then we got a 18-wheeler hit and run where the bounty for him, or the, the reward for turning him in is $100,000. Insane. And then we got the Lakland murder-suicide. We'll get over into details of that. And then we also got the nursing home explosion that we talked about yesterday. We got more details about who passed away. Tragic situation no matter what. But those are the topics we're going to go over. Like always, we go over 4 topics, Monday through Friday, starting around 6 and 7 p.m. Like I always say, if you disagree with anything I said, please leave me a comment. Let's talk about it. Let's have a discussion. That's the only way we can make this show work. We need to have conversations. But you know how I like to do it? I like to jump right into it. Let's jump right into it. The first thing we're talking about today is the Toronto kidnapping plot. So we're going to go over there. It looks like 3 men were arrested. So we're going to get into a few videos of that and see what we can find out about this situation. Absolutely crazy, y'all. But let's get over into it.
Toronto Police, Peel Regional Police, and the RCMP have arrested 3 men in an investigation into alleged kidnapping, conspiracy to commit sexual assault, and hostage-taking. One of the men is also facing ISIS-related terror charges. Oh, wow. The investigation, dubbed Project Neapolitan, was launched after 2 violent incidents in the GTA, an attempted armed kidnapping of a woman in May in Toronto, and another attempted armed kidnapping in Mississauga. Peel Police connected the 2 incidents and arrested 3 suspects: Walid Khan, Osman Azizov, and Fahad Sadat. Search warrants at homes connected to the accused in Toronto turned up firearms, ammunition, and high-capacity magazines, as well as alleged links to terrorism, prompting a parallel RCMP investigation.
Through this collaboration, the RCMP arrested Walid Khan of Toronto, who now faces multiple terrorism-related charges under Section 83 of the Criminal Code. These charges include terrorist financing, participation in the activities of a terrorist group, facilitating terrorist activity, and conspiracy to commit murder.
Khan is accused of providing property to ISIS, knowing it could be used to facilitate terrorist activity. Police say the suspect's alleged actions targeted women and members of the Jewish community. Azizov and Sadat are facing various firearm, kidnapping, and sexual assault charges.
So not just religious persecution, but also targeting women. Who knows what they would have done with the women? Well, let's go over into this next video and give us a little bit more details about it.
Hillary, what more can you tell us about this investigation and the charges that have been laid?
There are some really serious allegations here, Andrew, which have been outlined by both the Toronto Police Service, Peel Regional Police, and also the RCMP. So let's go through some of this, starting with the fact that a 26-year-old man is now facing a number of charges, including terror-related charges, a number of different police services that were all involved in uncovering what police say were crimes that they say were motivated by hate that were targeting women, in particular Jewish women in the Greater Toronto area. So they say, and I have a photograph here that I can show you of the men that are facing these charges. There are 3 men in total that are now facing a number of charges. The man on the left-hand side of your screen, that is 20-year-old Waleed Khan. He is the one who is also facing these additional terror-related charges that the RCMP has now outlined. The other 2 men on your screen, the one in the center and the one on the right-hand side, an 18 and 19-year-old, they are also facing a number of charges, but are at this point not facing terror-related charges. What we understand is that there were 2 violent incidents in the Greater Toronto area, one in May and one in June, when police say that those men were alleged to have kidnapped different women, attempted kidnappings in the Greater Toronto area. They say that as they started to investigate those 2 circumstances, that they realized that not only were they related, but after they went to the homes trying to investigate some of these crimes of these suspects, they then realized that there was even a more serious, larger plot here, and that is when they called in the RCMP, and that is why these terror-related charges are now in play as well. So that 26-year-old man on the left-hand side of your screen, according to the RCMP, he is accused of both providing funds and property to the terror group ISIS. He is accused of aiding terrorist activity, conspiracy to commit murder for a terror group. Those are some of the terror-related charges that he is facing. The 3 men, though, together are facing charges including conspiracy to commit kidnapping, hostage-taking, impersonating police, sexual assault, and sexual assault with a weapon.
Wow. So the other 2 just didn't know that he was a terrorist? And I guess we're expected to believe they just didn't know. Maybe he hid it well. But no matter what, they need to go. They need to be under the jail. They need to be under the jail. Let's keep going.
Police say that on May 31st of this year, of 2025 in Toronto, a woman was approached by these 3 men. One was armed with a handgun, another with a knife. The suspects, according to police, attempted to force this woman into a vehicle, but they fled when they were interrupted by a passing motorist. Then, in Mississauga, less than a month later, so on June 24th, police say that 2 women were targeted. They say that 3 men exited a vehicle armed with a handgun, a rifle, and a knife and chased the victims. They fled after being interrupted by a passerby. It was when police started to investigate those 2 incidents that they realized that this is all connected, and that is when they then referred all of this to the RCMP. Here's a little bit more of what we have heard from Peel Regional Police about the investigation into those 2 attempted kidnappings and how it then led them to bring the RCMP into this investigation as well.
Search warrants at the suspects' homes found firearms, ammunition, high-capacity magazines, and other critical evidence which expanded the scope of the investigation to include additional offenses motivated by hate, particularly targeting women and members of the Jewish community. We located evidence confirming his involvement in national security-related threats.
And it is at that point that, of course, that the RCMP then started their own investigation. They say with the help of these other police services as well, but you can imagine sort of the scope of this at this point. Now, it is expected that those 3 men, that they will be making a court appearance in Ontario coming up in the new year on January the 29th. But certainly some very serious allegations here, Andrew, which we'll be watching and listening for more reaction to throughout the day.
Yeah, absolutely crazy situation. Let's get over into this 3rd video. And we're not going to watch the whole thing, but let's see if they give us any more information.
On this Friday night, charged with terrorism. 3 suspects accused of plotting to kidnap Jewish women in Toronto.
Alleged offenses that were motivated in part by hate-motivated extremism with potential links to terrorism.
Why police say one of them was working for the so-called Islamic State. Breaking news, Epstein files, deadline day, the trove of documents being released.
So today, several hundred thousand.
Good evening and thank you for joining us. We begin with disturbing allegations from police in the Toronto area. Officers arrested 3 men who now face dozens of charges. They're accused of trying to kidnap several women from the streets of Toronto. Police say the attack was motivated by hate and specifically targeted Jewish Canadians. One of those accused is charged with terrorism and was allegedly working for the so-called Islamic State. As Taria Isri reports, the case is fueling fears over anti-Semitic attacks.
At a time of
Yep. So we all know this. There's been a lot of attacks on the Jewish community throughout time. We can't even say anything about it. But I never understood. I've said this plenty of times. I never understood hating someone for their own religion. Now, if they start sacrificing babies or something like that, then of course you can. I understand not allowing that. But if the religious freedom is what we came for this country for. But let's keep going.
Heightened alert within the Jewish community, these 3 Toronto men are stoking new fear.
The same extremism that fueled mass murder on the beach in Sydney is present here in the GTA and in Canada.
Less than a week after the Bondi Beach attack, which police say was inspired by ISIS. The RCMP, Toronto, and Peel Police Services laid nearly 80 charges against Walid Khan, Osman Azizov, and Fahad Sadat, accusing them of targeting women and Jewish people. Last June, 3 masked men allegedly attempted to kidnap a woman in Toronto. Then a month later, just west in Mississauga, officers say 3 masked men tried to force 2 women into their vehicle. In both cases, the women were sexually assaulted but got away. During the investigation, officers discovered an AR-style rifle and what they describe as a more sinister plot in this handout video.
The investigation identified alleged offenses that were motivated in part by hate-motivated extremism with potential links to terrorism.
Walid Khan was charged separately with several terrorism offenses, including conspiracy to commit murder for ISIS.
It seems as if the case is pretty serious from the type of preparation that was involved.
Khan lives in this Toronto apartment complex. The allegations have shaken neighbors who did not want to appear on camera.
I'm scared, of course, you fear, right?
Canadian police have foiled several ISIS-related plots. Last year, a Pakistani man was arrested in Quebec for allegedly planning to attack a Jewish center in New York.
It's a very potent reminder to Canadians that the threat from groups like Islamic State have not gone away.
After the massacre in Australia, Canada's Threat Assessment Agency said there are no known plots in this country, but warned attacks targeting Jewish holiday events remained a realistic possibility.
Now, we're not going to go through the whole thing, but it just goes to show you that there are still people out there who have so much hatred against a certain group of religious people. But anybody who's doing something like this needs to be arrested, held accountable, and put under the jail. They were sexually assaulting women, only Jewish women. There are some crazy demons in this world, and we got to review it together. We have to review it together. But let me know your thoughts on that whole situation. Let me know how you feel about it. But 79 charges between all 3 of them. And one of them, terrorism charges. I still want to know, did the other 2 know that their partner was a terrorist? Or did they just do it for the love of trying to kidnap women? I'm assuming they hated Jewish women since that's all they targeted. But did they know he was a terrorist working for ISIS? That is the question, y'all. But let me know your thoughts and let me know if you disagree with anything I said. It's a crazy situation, y'all. Crazy situation. But we're going to pivot over into the next topic we're going to be talking about today. 18-wheeler. There's an 18-wheeler hit and run where the reward is $100,000 reward offered for any information on the fatal hit and run. So we'll get over into that. We got 2 videos to look at. It's a tragic situation. An 18-wheeler hit somebody and just kept driving. Now, this goes to show you, I do have a question since we've seen all this. Was it an illegal alien? I have a question. Well, that is my question. Let's keep going, though.
There's now a $100,000 reward to find the person responsible for a hit and run that killed a man on the Dallas North Tollway. Happened 2 months ago when the driver of an 18-wheeler hit a car on the tollway in Plano. The man's family is still desperate, as you can imagine, for answers. Fox 4's Vanya Castillo live with more tonight. Vanya.
Hi, Heather. yeah, a local law firm is hoping that $100,000 will be enough incentive for someone to speak up and give 3 grieving children closure after their father was killed.
They just want some answers and some closure more than anything.
It's been over 2 months and the Quiros family is still at a loss for answers after Juan Quiros was killed while driving to work on October 21st.
I think the loss to this family it's hard to put into words. And I don't think it's something that most people can understand unless they've been through it.
At 6:30 a.m. that morning, DPS responded to a 4-vehicle crash in Plano. According to DPS, an 18-wheeler made an unsafe lane change and hit Quiros' Honda Civic, causing him to hit a concrete wall and roll over. 2 other vehicles would then hit his car. While those drivers survived, Quiros died at the scene.
Their biggest concern right now is confusion and the inability to understand why this happened and why nobody's coming forward. Why the driver of the truck is not coming forward, why the owner of the truck, assuming it was owned by either a trucking company or a construction company or somebody, why is the owner of the truck not coming forward?
Now, this goes to show you there's only a few reasons I can think. Either they think they can get away with it, or if they come forward, they know they'll be, well, of course they'll be in trouble, but they'll be in more trouble than... Yeah, the main reason is they don't want to get in trouble. But the owner of the truck, reason he didn't come forward, that's the main thing that's questioning. He has to have some reason where he does not think that it's best just to stay hidden. Either he was hiring illegal migrants or something like that, but let's get over into it.
A new $100,000 reward being offered is intended to change that. The attorneys for Quiros' children say someone needs to be held accountable.
Because even with all of the emotional distress that's been caused to this family, there's also another financial aspect of it. These people still got to make ends meet.
Attorney Brock Duke with the Bison Law Firm is concerned that the driver is still on North Texas roads.
There's a lot of people, a lot of traffic that travels up and down the Dallas North Tollway 24 hours a day. This truck is traveling on Dallas North Tollway, and it's probably most likely traveling on all of the highways of Dallas. So there's a lot of people at risk.
So they couldn't get like the license plate or anything?
Well, the law firm would like to make it known that anyone who does give any information will remain anonymous. Now, for more information on how you can contact them, you could head to our website at fox4news.com. Back to you, Heather.
All right.
Crazy situation. Let's go over to this next one.
There's a new $100,000 reward tonight, and it's kind of breathing some new life into what is a 2-month-old investigation into a deadly hit and run on the Dallas North Tollway. In that, 1 man was killed and the driver just vanished. Our Amelia Magavro tonight speaking with the victim's family, hoping for answers before the holidays.
It feels like we're waiting for a call that'll never get there.
For Lama Quiros and her family, the holidays look very different this year without their father and their rock.
Not as many laughs, not as many smiles. He would always have some dumb joke ready to tell.
That silence made even heavier by unanswered questions about how her father, Juan Quiros, died. Investigators say it happened 2 months ago on the Dallas North Tollway near Spring Creek in Plano around 6 a.m. An 18-wheeler made an unsafe lane change, hit Juan's car, and sent it rolling.
When you got the call about your dad, what did you feel?
It was a numbness that completely shocked my system. I was trying to wake myself up.
DPS says the truck driver never stopped. Photos from the scene show the rig had no visible logos and no license plate. Now, the attorneys for the victim's family say they really don't know exactly what happened here at the Dallas North Tollway because they haven't seen any video yet. They have requested video from the NTTA and DPS, but were denied due to the ongoing investigation. The Quiros family, along with the Bison Law Firm, is offering $100,000 for information leading to the driver's identity.
The identity of the driver, maybe where they were going, what were they doing? Why did they make that choice to just swerve like that?
Quiros says she forgives the driver, but says closure is all her family wants this Christmas.
There's no personal feelings for me. There's no anger, no remorse, no hatred. I don't feel hatred. But you broke the law, and justice has got to make do.
DPS says there are no new updates to the investigation at the...
We're not going to talk about the daughter, and that was a weird response. But hey, she is entitled to feel however she wants to feel. But at the end of the day, yes, they have to be punished for their actions. I still want to know why. Okay, so unless it was owned by the same person who hit and run, who hit the person who was driving, why wouldn't the owner want to come forward? Because they know they would be. The only other reason is that they knew the person behind the wheel shouldn't be driving, and that they would be held responsible. Or I'm assuming they could possibly be sued as well. Yeah, I believe that even if they was able to drive or properly licensed to drive that truck, it's a possibility they could be sued as well. Absolutely crazy situation, y'all. Let me know your thoughts on it. But the reward is up to $100,000. It happened back in October that this 18-wheeler tried to switch lanes and ended up killing a father. It's a tragic situation, but it goes to show you some people shouldn't be behind the wheel. We've experienced that many times over with the illegal immigrants who have CDLs who are not properly trained, it seems like, doing horrible things and killing people. But hopefully this person either comes forward, the owner of the truck comes forward, or someone gives some information so that this person can be captured. Because why? Because they need to be punished, and they have to, and that is the reason we have laws. It's a crazy situation no matter what, but $100,000, that'll give somebody a lot of reasons to rap, because somebody knows who was driving the truck, somebody seen something, and hopefully this will get them moving forward. Absolutely tragic situation. Let me know your thoughts on that. Let me know if you disagree with anything I said. Absolutely crazy. We're going to pivot over to the next topic we're going to be talking about today, the nursing home. So as we talked about it yesterday, we had a nursing home explosion. A nursing home explosion where right now they listed it as one resident and one employee has died from this, and there are still people missing. So let's get over into it and see what we can find out from this situation. Overall, it's a tragic situation. But let's see what we can learn from this. See if they give us any more information. Remember, this was a gas explosion.
Reporting explosion inside building.
In an instant, a massive and fatal explosion leveling part of this nursing home in eastern Pennsylvania.
We need a rapid intervention team to the collapsed area.
Authorities say 2 people were killed and another 20 taken to area hospitals. While according to Bristol Township's fire chief, 5 people are unaccounted for still, though he says they may have left the scene with family members.
I was sitting in the kitchen and I just felt the whole floor shake.
First responders rushing to the chaos on Tuesday afternoon, where multiple residents and staff members were stuck inside.
When we arrived, there was a major structural collapse with parts of the first floor into the basement with persons trapped.
Fire officials say rescuers had just saved 2 people from the basement before they experienced a second blast.
Within approximately 15 to 30 seconds of us exiting the building, knowing there was a heavy odor of natural gas around us, there was another explosion and fire.
While an investigation is still underway, officials may have pinpointed the problem. The area's utility company saying its teams responded to reports of a gas odor at the Silver Lake nursing home. While crews were on site, an explosion occurred.
We believe preliminarily that it was a gas leak that led to that.
Overnight, Pennsylvania's Governor Josh Shapiro hailing the heroic efforts of first responders.
Now, I will say, look at that last video we talked about, but a nurse also mentioned that over the weekend, she smelled gas, and her other employees smelled gas. But for some reason, they weren't scared of that. They didn't recollect that was a problem. But let's keep going.
We're quite literally climbing up ladders, handing individuals in this nursing home to police who were at times carrying 2 people on their back to safety.
We got 12 victims trapped. One in the elevator.
As crews worked their way through the rubble, bystanders watched on in fear of the worst.
I just pray that we all come out of this in one piece.
It's scary, you know what I mean? Because you don't really know what's going to happen.
But after hours of anxious waiting, relief for Joey Uhas, who was able to reconnect with his father, an elderly resident at the nursing home, just in time for Christmas Eve.
Now, Peter, Laura, the facility recently changed hands in the last several weeks. According to Governor Shapiro, on December the 10th, state health department employees met with the new owners and they crafted a plan to upgrade the standards at the facility. We did reach out to Sabre Healthcare Group. They have not yet responded to our request for comment. However, they did provide a comment to the Philadelphia Inquirer, which says, in part, we have worked to improve and fix prior issues and will continue that work in the wake of this tragedy. The investigation continues this morning. Peter, back to you.
A lot of love and gratitude to those heroes who made such a difference there. Sam Brock, thank you.
Hey, absolutely tragic situation. Let's get over to this next video.
This building literally just exploded right in front of my eyes. Like, as I was about to drive down the street. I don't know if I should turn up that way or not. That is insane, and I hope nobody was inside there, because what the actual I have no idea what just happened. Yeah.
Let's go over into this next video.
We're learning more about that deadly explosion and fire at a Pennsylvania nursing home that killed 2 and injured 20. First responders held a press conference a short while ago. They said the rescue operation at the nursing home site was a, quote, complicated scene.
I've never seen such heroism. They were running into a building that I could, from 50 feet away, can still smell gas and walls that looked like they were going to fall down. And they were still going in the building to recover people. They couldn't walk. They were in wheelchairs. Some people couldn't talk. This could have been a much more serious catastrophe.
We are joined now by CBS News correspondent Lilia Luciano, who is on the scene in Bristol, Pennsylvania. That sounds so harrowing, Lilia. The vulnerable, though, residents inside, the danger that was still present, and yet first responders running in to do more.
That's right, Reed. I mean, if you look behind me, you can see how that part of the building collapsed. That was, according to the fire and police chief, the cafeteria. They were dealing with the growing fire, with the smoke. According to those first calls, there was a flood on the bottom floor where that cafeteria was. They confirmed that one of the 2 people who died was in that area. It was one resident and one employee, somebody who worked at this nursing facility. I thought it was very interesting. The the accounts about the smell of smoke, as you heard there, the fire chief was saying that the smoke they could feel 50 or smell, I'm sorry, not the smoke, the gas they could smell 50 feet away. Right across the street, you can't see it from here, there is a fire department. There's a fire station there, which is where we were just minutes ago for that press conference. And there had been reports from neighbors and other people interviewed, including one employee of the nursing facility, of the nursing home, that they had smelled that smell of gas that is so easy to distinguish for a while. So when the explosion happened, there were crews from the Pennsylvania gas company that were there inspecting, and then the explosion happened, and then the fire grew and the smoke and everything that we've seen in these harrowing images. Of course, it's a nursing facility. You can imagine how vulnerable the people, the residents who were there were.
I said this before. This is probably the worst place it could have happened. Gas and a fire explosion in a place where majority of the people are in wheelchairs, can hardly move, need assistance just to go to the bathroom. It couldn't have happened in a worse place. Luckily, we had some strong heroes who came out and just put their lives at risk to save the people, as many people as they can. Tragically, two people lost their lives. But it couldn't have happened in a worse place.
19 of them are still in the hospital. It sounds like one person was released. And of those 19 people, one person remains in critical condition. There's another case that I thought was very interesting. One person, the authorities, the officials, the first responders thought was dead. So they initially reported 3 dead, and then that person was resuscitated at a nearby hospital. So the death toll came down to 2 people. 19 still in the hospital, 1 still in critical condition, 2 dead, both women, 1 an employee, 1 a resident.
Absolutely tragic situation. So like she said, 2 people have died, 19 are still in the hospital. Tragic situation. I wonder what caused the explosion. I know it was gas, but did somebody hit something? What sparked? What exactly made the gas ignite? We might never find that out, but they said they were smelling gas for days. And when the people were there to look into it, the explosion happened. Absolutely tragic situation, y'all. Let me know your thoughts on that situation. Let me know if you disagree with anything I said. Absolutely crazy. But we're going to pivot over into the last thing we're talking about today, the very last thing. We got the Lakland murder-suicide. And the good old sheriff, who we know and love down in Florida, is talking about it. But let's get over into it and see what we can figure out from this situation. Absolutely tragic situation. But let's get over into it.
Now, News Channel 8 at 10 on the CW Tampa Bay, sponsored by Farah and Farah.
Good evening, I'm Paola Suro. Thanks for joining us for News Channel 8 on the CW Tampa Bay. 2 people are dead and a young girl is in the ICU after a murder-suicide in Polk County. Sheriff Grady Judd says the crime is so heinous, even his own homicide detectives were horrified. News Channel 8's Ryan Arbogast has reaction from law enforcement and from people who knew the victims.
Polk County Sheriff Grady Judd said it best. He calls this a crime that completely and utterly destroyed an entire family. Neighbors we spoke to here say they're shocked, they're appalled, and they're still at a loss for words on exactly how their street turned into a massive crime scene late last night. First comes the fire trucks, then the ambulance, then the cops.
And what I'm about to describe to you is even 10 times that worse.
A mother of 3. Wife and friend, murdered in cold blood.
This is things that are never supposed to happen.
According to the Polk County Sheriff's Office, killed by the man she called her husband, 47-year-old Jason Kenny.
Crystal Kenny, the wife of Jason, is shot in the head and dead, but it gets worse.
Polk County deputies got a 911 call from Crystal's 12-year-old boy running from this home along Lemon Avenue in Lakeland after a fight over TV channels got violent.
As he's leaving the house, he hears a gunshot.
Deputies arrived, finding Kenny's 1-year-old child unharmed and his 13-year-old stepdaughter inside bleeding out. Luckily, the young girl able to talk to law enforcement.
She said, I begged him, don't shoot me, don't shoot me, don't shoot me, and he shot me anyway.
Neighbors tell us the split family lived there for about a year.
The good people, good neighbors. Couldn't ask for no better.
We found a note that at some time in the past Crystal wrote, and it was open, where she told Jason, you know, you're drinking, you're using cocaine again.
Jason Kenny has no history of domestic abuse and no prior arrests. This picture isn't a mugshot because Kenny never made it to jail. He drove to Lake Wales and shot himself, taking his own life.
Quite frankly, I don't want to sound sinister, but the only thing he did right that night was shoot himself.
Sheriff Judd says there's one good thing, one Christmas miracle, as he put it. The 13-year-old girl that was shot multiple times is expected to be okay despite being in critical condition. Reporting tonight in Polk County.
Tragic situation. They said it happened over TV channels. Let's go over into this next video where we get the whole press conference from the sheriff. So let's get over into that.
Plus, this is Polk County Sheriff Grady Judd just walked up to the podium a moment ago, giving an update right now about an overnight murder-suicide in the Highland City area of Lakeland. He's saying the suspect then drove himself to Lake Wales, where he was found dead, believed to have shot himself. Sheriff Judd giving the details about what we know about this incident. Let's go ahead and listen in live.
Deputies arrive in less than 5 minutes of the call for service. And when we enter the house, we see that Crystal Kenny, the wife of Jason, is shot in the head and dead. But it gets worse. We go into the bedroom and we see a 13-year-old child, a little girl. She's shot twice. She shot in the shoulder and she shot in the face. We later learned the bullet in the face hit her on the bridge of the nose, went straight up and out the top of her head. She is alive in critical condition, but stable at Lakland Regional Health and is alert and talking.
God works in mysterious ways.
That's a Christmas miracle. Jason shot her twice and intended to kill her. He didn't, however, shoot his biological child, thank God, who was 1 year old and in a crib.
Oh my God.
He shot his stepdaughter. He didn't get a chance to shoot his stepson, who had run to dial 911. Jason then jumps into his vehicle and flees the scene just prior to deputies arriving. He is going toward Lake Wales. He calls his sister in upstate New York, and he says, I've done something very, very bad. Very bad. I did something terrible. And this is the last time you'll ever talk to me. You'll see me on the news, but I am not going to jail. I'm not going to jail for the rest of my life. So he goes to his father's house, which apparently is currently in probate. His father's deceased. And there's a friend staying there. When he gets to the house, he immediately goes into a shed. Deputies now are tracking Jason. We set up a perimeter and start yelling for Jason to come out of this shed, which is adjacent to the home. And the deputies hear a single gunshot. When we make entrance into the shed, we find that Jason has shot himself in the forehead, and he too is deceased. I want you to think about this a minute. As the investigations unfolded during the night, and we're still in the preliminary stages, and as I always say when we talk soon, whatever we give you today is subject to modification. We found a note that at some time in the past Crystal wrote, and it was open, where she told Jason, you know, you're drinking, you're using cocaine again, this is not the way the family should be, you need God. Crystal, by the way, goes to church every Sunday. We don't know when she wrote the note. It's not dated, there's no time, there's no indication, but it was open. So did she write it, as they argued earlier in the evening, or had it been some period of time? We can't determine that. We also were able to talk to the 12-year-old, our Christmas miracle. She said, I begged him, don't shoot me, don't shoot me, don't shoot me, and he shot me anyway. This is things that are never supposed to happen. And certainly we are all very, very happy that our little 13-year-old girl is, from every indication, going to survive and thrive. But the investigation's still underway. But this is a family disturbance that apparently had gone on for some time. We talked to another family member, and that family member said, oh, he's been beating on her for a while. Wow. So we've checked our records to see if we received any calls at the residence, and we have not.
That is one of the worst things, tragic things about domestic violence. If the wife doesn't report it, they have no record of it, it's a lot of people won't know about it. And then women are so scared that, or maybe just so traumatized that they don't want to report their husbands for putting their hands on them. It's a tragic scene, but the only way to get it to stop is you have to tell somebody. That is my thing. They'll apologize and make a hoopla about it. I'll never do it again, until they do it again. It has always happened. So get help when you need it. Reach out to someone. Talk to someone. But let's keep going.
He has never been arrested for domestic violence. But bottom line is, 3 days before Christmas, he shot and killed his wife. He shot his 13-year-old stepdaughter twice and intended to kill her. Called his sister and confessed that he did something terrible, and then rather than be arrested, shot and killed himself. Quite frankly, I don't want to sound sinister, but the only thing he did right that night was shoot himself after those horrible deeds. If he felt that way, he could have taken himself out and not hurt those two beautiful people. So it's sad anytime. It's horrific anytime. He had a chance. He could have gotten mental health help. We'd have done anything we could for him and the family in advance. But he just absolutely destroyed a family, literally, and the mental health of two children without their mama and an infant that will grow up without a mother and a father. 3 days before Christmas. Any questions?
You said the 12-year-old is asked not.
So we're not going to get into the questions. We'll go over into an article real quickly. Well, not article, AI is good. But so just to get a little more detail, about what caused the altercation. So on October 22nd, a tragic domestic dispute over a television program in the Highlands City area of Lakland, Florida, escalated into a murder-suicide that left 2 adults dead and a teenager critically injured. So the altercation began late Monday night when 47-year-old Jason was watching an NFL game. According to the Polk County Sheriff's Office, the violence was triggered when his wife, Crystal, suggested they watch something else. So as alcohol abuser, cocaine abuser, wife beater, the wife made a suggestion to let's watch something else instead of football. For some reason, he got very angry. During the argument, Crystal instructed her 12-year-old son to run to the neighbor's house and call 911. As the boy fled, he heard gunshots. Deputies arrived to find Crystal deceased in the living room from a gunshot wound to the head. And then the 13-year-old stepdaughter was shot twice in the bedroom. And then we already know that he fled the scene to his deceased father's home where he took his own life. And then they discovered a letter referencing his struggle with alcohol and drug abuse. That, especially with the family member saying that he beats her. So all that combined, him abusing alcohol, he's probably very drunk and high. When they was watching the game, she made one suggestion, I guess, so the whole family can watch something together. And he got overly angry and pulled out his gun and shot her. And for some reason tried to shoot his stepdaughter too. Luckily, he didn't shoot his 1-year-old baby that was in the crib. It's an absolutely tragic situation. Absolutely tragic situation. And the 13-year-old girl who was shot, the boy who ran to save and to call 911, all of them are going to need some therapy to talk to someone about this. Hopefully they got a good support system. It's an absolutely tragic situation, y'all. Absolutely tragic, but the culprit is gone. He took his own life because he said it in his call to the sister that he cannot go to jail for the rest of his life. He didn't want to face that punishment. So I guess he just faced the punishment in the afterlife. Absolutely crazy situation, y'all. Let me know your thoughts on that. Let me know if you disagree with anything I said. Absolutely crazy. But that is it for the show today. We talked about a lot of crazy things like always. You know, we got to do a summary of everything we talked about. So we got the Toronto kidnapping plots where 3 men were charged with kidnapping and sexually assaulting Jewish women. And one of the men was working with a terrorist group, ISIS, to commit murder and provide funds. Then we talked about an 18-wheeler hit and run. For some reason, the 18-wheeler driver or the owner of the truck have not come forward, and they are now offering a $100,000 reward for any information. Then we talked about the nursing home explosion. That nurses and residents complained of them smelling gas days prior. And when they are finally out there to handle that situation, the explosion happens. 1 resident and 1 employee is dead. People are traumatized. And it's a tragic situation. And then lastly, we talked about this Lakland murder-suicide, where the father, alcoholic, drug user, wife beater, his wife suggested changing the television. And for some reason, he got overly upset, killed her, and tried to kill his 13-year-old stepdaughter. Luckily, the 12-year-old son ran and called 911, and he wasn't crazy enough to kill his 1-year-old son that was in the crib in the house. He ended up taking his own life at his deceased father's home. It's a crazy world we live in, y'all. It's a crazy world, but we got to review it together. We have to review it together. Let me know your thoughts on any things we talked about. Let me know if you disagree with anything I said. Now, you already know these videos will be broken down, so you can watch the one you want. Y'all remember to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, because we are here every Monday through Friday, starting between 6 and 7. We will be here tomorrow. We don't miss. No holidays. If it's Monday through Friday, we here. Unless I make unless I gotta skip the day, but you already know we will have a makeup show. Hit that like button, y'all. Hit that subscribe button and hit that notification bell. But that's it for now, y'all. I'll see y'all tomorrow at 6. Peace.